Well, welcome everyone to the On Purpose show, where we empower healthcare practitioners and other providers to help the community find the best possible options for the best possible care and outcome. So thank you all. My name is Alyssa Hargan, as you know, and this is my co-host Martha. And I'm so happy to have you all here. Welcome, Martha. And Martha is going to start us out with going through and introducing each one of you and just giving a little bit about your background.
Along with a fun fact question. So after I intro each of you, I want you guys to think of a fun fact that you can share with the group. So thank you, Alyssa. Welcome everyone. Again, I'm so happy to be here. A little bit about myself. I've been with Alyssa and supporting Alyssa with these shows for, wait, that's wild. It's like 3 months and it'll be a year. So yeah, 9 months, which is so crazy. Oh my gosh, time flies. And I'm actually on the other side of the country. So I'm in New Jersey, which is fun. Jersey girl, born and raised. But yeah, I'm so excited to begin with Dr. Alex Williams. So Dr. Alex Williams comes from Lakewood, and his journey to becoming a chiropractor was inspired by a junior high accident that injured his leg, leading to back and pelvis problems affecting his sports performance. After experiencing relief through chiropractic care, he recognized its significance in the medical field, offering an alternative approach to helping people with pain and medical conditions. His impressive educational background includes degrees in biology, chiropractic, and sports medicine, earning him cum laude honors and board certifications as a chiropractor and certified chiropractic sports physician at Brigham Young University and the University of Western States. So Dr. Alex, welcome. And what's a fun fact about yourself that you'd like to share?
Well, I have 3 kids that my life is run by them right now. But I still find time to golf and play competitive softball and stay active as much as I possibly can. So
that's awesome. Competitive softball.
Yes. Take it seriously.
Very seriously.
That
Winning is important, right?
Not all the time, but most of the time.
Yeah.
That is super awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that fun fact, Dr. Alex. And next we have Emily Cheney.
Oh, that was her maiden name. As you can see on her screen.
Howse. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. So Emily Howse. Emily is co-owner of Rejuvenescence MedSpa, a business established with her mother and sister in May of 2022. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Pacific Lutheran University and boasts 11 years of nursing experience across various specialties, including geriatrics, rehab, acute care, orthopedic surgery, and aesthetics. Her primary passion lies in aesthetics and regenerative medicine. Welcome, Emily. And what's a fun fact about yourself?
Thank you. Yeah, I have 2 dogs and 3 cats, and I live in Yelm with my husband. Yeah,
that's awesome. What kind of dog? I'm a dog person, and what kind of cat too?
Yeah, I'm a cat person.
I have 2 dogs. They're sisters, and they're both pit bull German Shepherd mix.
Oh wow! Yeah. I have not seen that combination before.
Yeah, you don't see it very often.
I bet not.
That is sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Emily. Now we have Radu and Ahtumn Delacroix. Radu is a PhD graduate in mechanical engineering from Stanford University. Facing health challenges in the past 2 years, he saw unconventional solutions beyond mainstream medicine, drawing on his unique perspective with family members who are medical doctors. He discovered the energy enhancement system during his health journey and found it effective for his own healing, leading him and his wife, Ahtumn, to open the Source Energy Center in Yelm in 2023, where they share this technology with their community. Welcome, Radu. What's a fun fact about you?
We have 2 dogs, 30 chickens, and 1 cat.
Nice. Do your chickens lay?
Oh yeah, no, delicious eggs, so we love them.
Good.
That's awesome. And my face of shock is genuine. I'm a Jersey girl who sees the Empire State Building from across the window. So 30 chickens is like, that's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you, Radu. Ahtumn, welcome. Ahtumn initially came from a background rooted in natural approaches to health, in contrast to Radu's engineering and technology perspective. However, she eventually embraced the idea of using technology to restore bodily balance and facilitate healing. Despite their differing backgrounds, Ahtumn and Radu are now united in their mission to offer this technology to help others achieve long and healthy lives. Ahtumn, what's a fun fact you'd like to share?
Well, I have 4 kids, and they've all been natural and at-home births. And the last one, the midwife didn't make it, so Radu helped me with that.
Oh, way to go, Radu.
That's what you learn at Stanford.
No.
That's awesome. Wow. Super admirable. Well, amazing fun facts, amazing group, Alyssa. This is super fun. And I'm so happy that you're all here. But before we begin the show, I would love to introduce our host, Alyssa. It is 2014, and she weighs just 93 pounds and can hardly get out of bed with no real solutions from doctors. One thing for sure was her determination to not give up and to begin searching for answers. Her discovery of functional medicine became a passion for helping others avoid and eliminate pain. In 2016, she accomplished functional nutrition school, and 2 years later started her health coaching business. A year later, she watched her father go from being very active and fit to sedentary with major muscle atrophy with debilitating psychiatric pain.
Sciatic.
Hard
word.
That's a
Gosh, I'll get that one day, Alyssa. She was introduced to soft wave therapy, an exciting breakthrough option in the field of regenerative medicine. After becoming a certified soft wave technician and treating her father, he was pain-free. And since then, many others have had similar outcomes and have said they have gotten their lives back. And this is our host, Alyssa Hargan.
Thanks for
Awesome.
being here, everyone.
Take it away, Alyssa.
All right. Well, we have some questions for each of you that we'd like to ask just to get to know each one of you. And Emily, if you would be willing to go first, I would just love to know, what inspired you to go into rejuvenative medicine? And obviously you have a long background of nursing and healthcare, but specifically for what you're doing now, what inspired you to go into that?
Well, I've always been interested in kind of like natural medicine, natural remedies. When I was younger, like I had a lot of issues with my skin. And so I was looking for like skincare, how do I take care of my skin? How do I, keep it healthy and whatnot. And so that kind of was a main thing for me when I was younger. And I was like, I would love to work with skin, but I wanted to get into nursing. And so like, as I became a nurse, I was a nurse for a while, and I was like, man, I would really love to do something a little bit more skin-based, aesthetic-based. And so like, I was always kind of looking for something, but back then, like you didn't really see anything besides like dermatology offices where, like you're removing moles and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm kind of looking for something else. And so one day my sister, she was looking for like laser hair removal. And so she went up to this one salon for laser hair removal, and she's like, hey, this is a medical spa. They hire nurses here. And so I went with her, and I would like see all the different things that they did. It wasn't just laser hair removal. It was, fillers and Botox and, oil therapy, which is ultrasound waves to stimulate collagen production. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so that's what got me into the aesthetic field. Because like the company that I worked with actually trained you. They're like, oh, we don't care if you have training. We want to train you, which is pretty difficult to find in aesthetics, medical aesthetics. They want you to have years of experience already. And so I started working there and, worked there for quite a few years. And I realized that the aesthetics field is huge and it's growing, and it's not just, Botox. You can do lots and lots of things, regenerative as well. And so, I realized that the place I was working was a little bit more limited in what they wanted to offer. because they were a big corporation, you know, and they're like, oh, we only offer this much and you can do so much more. And so after doing that for quite a few years, my mom was like, well, you know everything to start our own business. Why don't we do it ourselves? And then you can be in control of what we offer. And so when we opened our own business, we were kind of looking into more regenerative treatments, not just, you know, laser hair removal and, you know, body contouring. And so we were trying to focus more on like vitamin injections and platelet-rich fibrin injections and, you know, biofiller and things like that, that not only make you look better and feel better, but, you know, function better as a person, you know? Yeah.
That's amazing. So with the different services that you offer, I know one of them is the PRF, rich fibrin.
Yeah.
I did want you to talk about that a little bit. And you know, you're welcome to talk on each of those. But I know that you know, that we hear about PRP all the time, but
Yeah.
I know PRF is a little bit different. And would you be willing to explain that?
Yeah. So PRP is platelet-rich plasma. And that's kind of first generation technology. That's what a lot of people are using. That's what a lot of people know. But platelet-rich fibrin is second generation technology. A lot of this has been kind of developed and put forward through dentistry, because they use it a lot for like tooth implants, things like that, to get you to heal faster, help with sockets and whatnot. But so with platelet-rich fibrin, the difference is it doesn't, in like the tubes that you draw the blood in, doesn't have anticoagulants in it. So it increases the actual like efficacy of the product. Anticoagulants will decrease like the fibrin clot, which is what's holding all the growth factors in place. A lot of people were using PRP because it's easier and you have more working time than platelet-rich fibrin. But platelet-rich fibrin has been shown to have more white blood cells, more platelets, more fibrin, stem cells, you know, growth factors, all the things you need to regenerate tissue and promote healing. We use a horizontal centrifuge instead of a traditional like fixed angle. And with that, it increases the amount of white blood cells you can get in the product, and it reduces cell degradation. So it's about 4 times more effective than traditional platelet-rich plasma.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you just, oh, go ahead.
You can use it for many, many different things. We originally started using it for like collagen stimulation. You can inject it into the face, neck, chest to stimulate collagen. And it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for your collagen to reach full maturity. So you could do it anywhere where you're looking for skin tightening, but not volume. And then we actually use technology to turn it into a filler, all natural filler. You heat up the plasma, it turns it into a gel, and the gel can last 4 to 6 months, and it releases stem cells over that 4 to 6 months. Wow. So areas where you need extra volume, you know, like cheeks, lips, chin, jawline, you know, areas like that, you can even use it in like your chest or your bottom, you know, to kind of fluff things up. If things are losing collagen, you can use them there. You can also inject into the scalp for people who have alopecia that are losing their hair. It will stimulate the hair to start growing again, thicker and healthier. And we've been using it a lot recently for joints, people who have, and muscles, people who are trying to avoid surgery or have had surgery and want to heal faster, or have had injuries, you know, anywhere like decades in the past or recent, and they're trying to heal them. You can inject it into those joints, into those muscles, and it'll stimulate a healing response.
That's amazing. So fascinating. And I love the fact that, you know, not using the anticoagulants doesn't degrade the efficacy as much of the product as much as like PRP would.
Yeah.
I would have never known that if I hadn't had this conversation with you. So
Yeah, a lot of people were a little, like when they do the research, the PRP tubes that they use to draw the blood even had like chemicals in them, like little pieces of silicone, plastics, things like that, because a lot of the blood, like if you're just drawing blood to test it, you don't have to worry about the purity of the blood, because you're not re-injecting it. But the tubes that we use have absolutely no additives on them at all. And so you don't have to worry later that, oh, did a piece of silicone get re-injected or anything like that. They're 100% pure.
that's amazing. And just real quick, in 30 seconds or less, can you just give a brief overview of what other services you offer there?
Yeah, we do wrinkle relaxers, vitamin injections, muscle stimulation, body contouring, laser hair removal, and plasma pen treatments.
What was the last one?
Plasma pen treatments, like a plasma fibroblasting. It uses a
okay.
plasma arc energy to tighten skin.
Interesting. Okay. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that, Emily. And it's, wonderful to know about all these different resources and technologies, and glad that you're here in Yelm. So thank you. Radu, I would love to hear about the energy enhancement system.
Sure. So the journey for us started with a little bit of a health event for myself about a year ago. And we were sort of sent in different directions by various doctors, medical doctors, as to what to do about the condition and how to heal it. And it just became clear that because they were so different that nobody really knows what's going on. And so we were out looking, or I was out looking for alternative ways of understanding health and understanding in helping that would help me improve, and came across a technology called energy enhancement system. So we're not a medical doctor, as you know, and we're not a practitioner in that sense, but we found this technology that was quite amazing. And of course, being skeptical and with my background in science, I just didn't believe stuff like that, because there's so many cases where people say this does miracles and this and that, and doesn't really occur. So we went to actually test it, and there was a center, the first center in Washington with an energy enhancement system was opened up near Puyallup, and we went there. And as soon as we went there the first time, I could feel it work in my neck area and the brain area. And so from that alone, I started to understand that this thing does something. I didn't know what it does and how it works at that stage, but I could tell you right away that because it's so specific to me and it addresses the areas that I had trouble with, I could tell it has an immediate impact. And later on, I understood more that the technology, what it really does, it doesn't really heal anything. So contrary to many other approaches where you're trying to heal something, it does quite the opposite. It just engages your body or immerses your body in an environment where the body can finally start to heal itself. And so therefore, it recognizes the divinity of the body itself and the tremendous capacity the body has to heal anything or almost anything by itself, if given the proper balance of energies and frequencies. So it regards the body more as a frequency, which is much more advanced of a thinking and has happened in our history before. You look at Poirier in France in the 50s, who had already cured cancer. You look at all the Rife technologies, who were incredibly successful, but then were suppressed, or the people got killed, and so it didn't go anywhere. So here we're left with sort of a Western medical system that is very fragmented, is lacking the whole nutritional aspect from plants, et cetera, et cetera. So this technology was just amazing, and you just immerse yourself for 2 hours, and you start to feel how the body starts to heal itself. And the goal was that, first we wanted it for us, and then later on we realized, well, why not have it available, make it available for everybody here in Yelm? And so we're located at the Burnett Center here in Yelm. and have been seeing quite miraculous effects happening from people with Parkinson's suddenly stopping tremor, people with neuropathy getting rid of it, being able to breathe. 90-year-old one lady with gray in her face, started to walk without a cane again, etc., etc. So the endless examples of these effects is truly remarkable.
Yeah, for sure. And as someone who has been able to experience this technology myself, I can attest that, there was definitely a big shift in my energy when I came in. I was kind of like in a rush and feeling stressed, and, had been feeling this way for months. And, Ahtumn so kindly, said to me, it might take 20 minutes or so to kind of balance your energy to come in line with what, the energy enhancement system puts out, which is what, if I'm understanding correctly, is the frequency of what our DNA should be. And she was right, like 20 minutes in, like all of a sudden I felt like this huge weight had been lifted off of me, and I just felt super calm and peaceful. And it was interesting because, different areas in my body where I have pain, those areas would kind of come up for a couple minutes, and I would just feel the pain sensation, and then they would just disappear, and then it would go to the next one. So it was like the body was prioritizing. And now that I think of it, it seems like it was prioritizing them in order of what was most recent, the most recent injuries to oldest. So yeah, I mean, it was definitely, for me, I felt like, wow, this is something. Like I literally felt the energy in my body in the shift.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's very complex in that sense, in the sense of it's not just one frequency that it puts out. It is, what we don't understand is how much we're stressing our body with all the frequencies we have around us, starting with a 60 hertz, for example, noise. We're not meant to function in a 60 hertz environment because the natural frequency of Earth is 7.8 hertz, for example. So we're stressing our body. We're electrical, like there's no doubt about it. And so we're stressing our body with requesting it to change 60 times per second as opposed to 7.8 times a second. And so that's one of the things it does. It emits the 7.8 Schumann resonance frequency of Earth. It also emits the frequency of the rainforest, so you can calm and relax. But then moreover, it produces a scalar wave, and with that scalar wave, it inserts information that penetrates your entire body, and it allows your body to get information around healing, relaxation, and that forms the basis, for example, for things start to get better in your body. And then the second part is that the photonic, they call it fusion or collision, creates basically an ionized environment that recharges your cells. So every single cell in your body, as we age, starts to lose in voltage. And once you get to sort of 20 millivolts or less, you start to develop cancer, you start to develop other diseases. And so the first thing this thing does is it recharges your cells, every single battery of your cells. So the mitochondrial action, they've measured it actually in clinical study. Mitochondrial action is improved by 4 times. So that's tremendous. That's huge. And so every cell starts to get recharged. And that's what most people feel straight away. And once the cells have been recharged, they can get going in repairing important aspects of what needs to be repaired. So it allows your body to take its sort of immense capability and repair itself. And so that's what we see every day. And so the more you come, it builds on itself because you get recharged, and now more cells are recharged, they can address other aspects, and suddenly melanoma start to shrink, or things like that happen. It's just fabulous. It's a new way of thinking about health in your body.
For sure. It's just giving the body what it needs, bring it back in balance, to give it the chance to prioritize healing elsewhere in the body. Because, like you said, we're so bombarded by all these frequencies that are actually harmful to our bodies, that the body is so distracted and confused that it's, no wonder we have so many diseases and chronic illnesses. So thank you. And I know you mentioned that, it's a 2-hour, but touch on that briefly, just give us like a quick 30 seconds to a minute. of what that typical session looks like.
So what you would experience is you go into our space. We have all the seats are basically NASA engineered zero gravity chairs that are very comfortable and allow you to really forget about your body. That's really important. Forget about your body because you want to heal it. And then we darken the room, and it has these flickering screens that look like crazy photons flying around. You don't need to pay attention to that. You could just relax. You have blindfolds, we can provide you with blindfolds. So you just relax and either focus on an area that you want to have healed, or you focus on just falling asleep, relaxing and falling asleep. Most fall asleep because it's so relaxing, the environment, that you can't help but falling asleep. And so then it takes 2 hours. You have a 2-hour session. The room holds, it's a fairly big room. It holds up to 10, 11 people. And after 2 hours, you feel so rejuvenated, and we wake you up basically, and that was it. And then the second part I need to mention is that you combine that with detoxification or salt baths, because the first thing that was measured that the body is going to try to do is all these cells trying to get rid of their toxins. And so we need to help it. You're going to pee out the toxins, but we need to help the body with a salt bath, so more of these toxins can get out of your body, and that's when you start to really feel the benefits. So you need to combine it with, in the evening, a half an hour of a salt bath, and then you have the system, the combined effect, and now your body can start to heal.
Yeah, and I it's kind of funny because the first time, after my first session, I did my salt bath, but after my second session I forgot, and I felt like I was having these detox reactions, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to do the salt bath. So I can see how important that is to help your body draw out, when it starts to go into its repair mode and flush things out, to help give the body that assistance in doing so. So
it's very individual, like depending on how many pharmaceuticals you consumed or how you fed yourself, like with using organic healthy food or not. Those are all aspects. So that then the body needs to get rid of more toxins, and so then this effect will be more pronounced, and you may get headaches or think this thing doesn't work. But it's all part of the body getting rid of things that it doesn't really want to have in its body.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ahtumn, is there anything that you wanted to say? I know it's, we probably see more of your beautiful face in the actual center than news, but I have to say, like, you have such a beautiful facility, and it just feels so peaceful and so relaxing, and I've really enjoyed my experiences there.
Awesome. No, I think you pretty much, touched on the points that are important. Having the eyes closed when you're in there. Some people want to come and read, or it's really hard for people to get around the idea of 2 hours of nothing, or some people, because we are pushed so hard in our day to keep going and doing and being. And so in there, I just like to remind people that when your eyes are open, 80% of your resources go toward navigating what you're seeing and how it perceives what's in front of you. And so if you can come in there and just close your eyes, it does give your body the opportunity to utilize the frequencies that are there to help it, I think that's, other than that, he touched on everything that I would have added.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm super excited and feel super blessed to have that so close and look in this local community. So thank you so much for bringing that to Yelm. It's very nice to have you guys.
Thank you.
And Dr. Alex Williams.
Hi.
How you doing? So good to see you here. And I know we briefly touched on your bio, that, what inspired you to go into chiropractic was a leg injury, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So,
little more detailed story than that, but yeah.
No more details than that?
No, there's way more details
way
than
more.
that.
Yeah, would love to hear a little more, for sure.
So I was pretty involved with Boy Scouts growing up in the area here. So we went on this hike to Lena Lake, if any of you have ever been up to that hike. But we went to Upper Lena Lake, and there was this tree that was just kind of like by the lake, a big long log essentially, and the lake had kind of gone down in level, and so it was teeter-tottering. I was just sitting minding my own business, eating breakfast. Some of the other guys that were there played on it, and they tilted it, and it rolled. And that tree actually rolled over me and like crushed me into the ground. So it was more of a broken leg, broken arm, cracked ribs. Like, it was pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
They had to actually like full on build a stretcher and, you know, carry me down the mountain. So yeah, that's where that started. But I had just started my, like, you know, sports kind of, you know, getting that. Sorry, I thought I turned that off.
No worries.
And then once we kind of figured out the big injuries there, yeah, it left me with like a leg discrepancy, and some other things that would affect my performance playing sports. And that's where a local chiropractor came into play. And I didn't know the mechanisms of like how that was helping me, but I always knew I wanted to do something medical. And when it came down to it, honestly, I was deciding between anesthesiology or chiropractic, and I ended up going this route and haven't regretted that decision since. So yeah. So that's how we ended up here.
That's amazing. Where did you start out doing chiropractic? It sounds like you were originally from Washington, or?
I was born in California, but I moved up here, so I call this home. I've been
That's
here for
right.
like 25 years now. I've lived in Puyallup, South Hill the whole time. So we wanted to move back to the area because all our family's here. And then basically from the get-go, I've been here. I've been here for going on 9 years.
Right.
There were some guys that kind of like invested and kind of gave me some mentorship along the way. And then I bought the practice about 2.5 years ago and have just been running with it since. So
That's amazing. So as far as, you know, there's so many, I meet so many different chiropractors who specialize in different techniques. You know, they have,
yes.
You know, I hear there's like Atlas orthogonal, there's Nuka, there's, you know, what is your preferred, and what do you use, and what is that
So
like?
I went to University of Western States, like you said, which is one of a handful, I'll say, probably these days, of like science evidence-based chiropractic schools versus more so the philosophy-based science or chiropractic schools. So I'm more of, I guess they would call it in our like a diversified chiropractor, but my outlook and approach on chiropractic is completely different than the rest of the chiropractic world, because it is more of a philosophical based approach that the majority of chiropractors have.
Interesting. What can you describe a little bit how that differentiates?
So in my practice, I mean, patient education obviously is huge on what's going on, but I'm kind of more of the opinion that chiropractors should be focused on soft tissue injuries. And that what we do as far as the actual treatments we provide help to help those soft tissue injuries fully and completely heal, versus the body's natural response for let's say a ligament got torn, you know, like rolling your ankle. It's only going to get about 60-70% better by itself. So chiropractic is there to help that tissue along its healing path to get back to 100% versus just that 60%.
Okay. So what is, you know, a typical, someone comes into your office as a new patient, what does that typically look like as far as, you know, the treatment that you do?
So we'll do an exam, see what tissue exactly is damaged and hurt. X-rays might be involved with that too, obviously, just to see, you know, the exams tell us what tissues hurt, but it doesn't tell us like to what extent or how bad. So those X-rays can be beneficial just to see if there's any underlying degenerative changes that have led to the tissue being weaker. And that also affects the prognosis, the outcome from that treatment. So Washington's a tougher area, state to practice in for chiropractors. We're pretty much limited to our hands and rehab. I don't unfortunately get the benefit of using like ultrasound and e-stim and stuff like that in Washington. So it's very much a hands-on approach to doing the adjustments and the treatments. And then I do massage therapy as well.
Oh, do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, that's, you know, for me, whenever I go to a chiropractor or anything, I'm just, if they give me a little extra massage, shoulder rub, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll give you an hour to stop that.
Yep, everybody likes a little extra soft tissue work. So
Exactly.
yeah, but at the basis of it for chiropractic, the adjustment, the grade 5 mobilization is the like therapeutic benefit of going to the chiropractor.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you typically, are, and I guess we can start going around, with you as far as like, what are your ideal clients? Who do you prefer to work with?
I don't know if I have an answer to that question. I think my practice in general, just because we're kind of younger, I attract that. I think I'm close to the base, so I get a lot of active duty in their families that, the military is real rough on those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
They're rucking, hiking with 40 to 80 pounds on their back weekly. So I see a lot of those, that population, and then I get a lot of car accidents too.
Do you?
Because unfortunately the system is, they get in a car accident, they go to the emergency room, they get all the big imaging. Well, nothing big's hurt or nothing requires surgery. So that's all they get. And they get some prescriptions to help with pain and walk out the door. So we gear our marketing towards attracting those types of patients so that we can help them through that process. Because like I said, if it doesn't happen properly, that leads to degenerative change, and then ultimately that leads to arthritis down the road. And leading cause of disability in the United States is arthritis. So trying to fight that little by little.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's a big one. Well, that's, amazing. And I, obviously I'm on the other side of the base, so I see a lot of the military people too. And, I have a special place in my heart for them.
Yep.
And them serving our country and all that they do. So thank you for what you do and your impact that you have in their lives. I know that's super important to keep our military healthy.
Yep. I agree.
Thank you so much for sharing all that. It's great to know, what different chiropractors offer. And I love the fact that, you do focus on the soft tissue more, and that has its definite place. And I'm, I always like to try out different chiropractors. So, I don't know if chiropractors hate me for that, but it's like, I always want to experience what is different and, may help me in a different way than one might be able to.
No, I agree. I tell my patients, I feel like the way a chiropractor treats their patients is kind of like their fingerprint. So no two are identical in that way. But it's also kind of a downfall of the chiropractic profession at the same time. We're not all on the same page, and so that can create problems of its own.
I see. Yeah. And I can see how that could happen. And I also, I'm grateful that there are different techniques, because, we're all bio-individual people. So what does work for one might not work for another. And I have, quite a few people that I know that they love the cracking and crunching, and some people are just like, no, I don't want that. Like, I don't hear any sounds. So, it's good that there's those different options.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Emily, I would love to hear your perfect client, your ideal client, what's your favorite treatment to do? Who do you most market, or,
A lot of our treatments tend to be 18 and older, just for safety purposes and whatnot. However, with like the platelet-rich fibrin injections, we don't really have an age limit for that. It's basically anyone who has an injury or is trying to prevent an injury. They're good candidates because it's all their own blood anyway, that nothing's added. And most people are candidates for that. But we get a lot of, we have a pretty diverse client base, people as young as, in their early 20s to people as old as late 70s. Because we have such a wide range of services, we get a wide range of clients who come in. Right now, we're trying to kind of promote our platelet rich fibrin injections more, because so many people can benefit from them, and you know, there's no side effects and really no restrictions to it. So we have a pretty wide base of clientele.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It helps to know who, you know, when we're making referrals, and who would fit best for your practice. So thank you for sharing that. And Radu and Ahtumn, you know, if I asked this question to someone who I thought that, you know, they would say, oh, well, you know, we take everybody, but they actually said, no, actually we do have an ideal client. So do you have an ideal client?
Well, it's true that anybody with a body is a great client, but because there's no limitations to the way this particular modality works, but having an open mind and the ability to come in with an intention, I think is really would be my ideal client. Somebody that's willing to come in there and receive the frequency, because I do think you can block frequency if you choose to a certain extent. And so for me, we've seen it help people, you know, young people with heart stuff or energy problems, and we've seen it help a 90-year-old. So there's not a limitation to what it can do, but the ideal client for me would be one that was open-minded and understood that it's a process. It's, you know, we have had people come in, like a woman with Parkinson's, and saw immediate results, but you may need to build up the millivoltage of your cell, not your soul, and to, you know, and so somebody that's committed to their health and open-minded would be the ideal client in my mind.
I would just add also, you know, people who have been trying maybe Western medicine approaches and have had limited success. And for example, we had one gentleman, he's 74 years old, had been, his blood sugar was in the 300 levels and basically near death. And he's tried everything on the world, any chemical he can think of, flown everywhere. Nothing worked to bring his blood sugar reliably down. And so he came to the center, and after one session, typically the curve is kind of like what you've mentioned, Alyssa, it's like gets a little worse. And so he typically spiked, and he was like, oh, gets a little much here. And then, but he kept coming. And after 4 weeks, it spiked one more time. And then in the next morning, the blood sugar was around 90, 92. So completely normal.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way for a week. And then he came again, and then it started to go up again, and same phenomenon. So, and then he came more up, kept coming, and now it's like constantly at 90. So his body has been able to heal himself. Like there's nothing that, you know, was injected, was taken in, nothing, and nothing that actually Western medicine had a solution for. And it healed him. So if you have, for example, we have a big segment in our audience, which is military, police, first responders, because there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of PTSD going on. And this system also balances the left and right hemisphere, so it automatically brings you more peaceful. It helps solve your trauma. It addresses that, and it doesn't have those flare-ups that become weaker and weaker. So there's many different audiences, and depending on where you feel frustrated and not getting more results, that may be then the trigger for you to say, well, maybe I'm becoming more open-minded, like Ahtumn said, and I'm just willing, I want this to improve, and I don't know any other solution, and nobody can help me, and let's go for this route.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing those stories. And I totally agree with the open-minded, and even, you know, setting our, what would you say, not necessarily expectations, or there's a word I'm thinking for. Intent. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, our beliefs have a huge impact on whether, you know, that's why placebos work sometimes.
Yeah,
because, you know, people believe that it is something that's helping them. So I think that intent is, you know, being that open-minded to say, you know, I'm open to healing this way and through this technology, and you know, having that positive mindset is definitely important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all that. I know Martha has some questions for all of you that I'll give her a chance to ask here, but I just again want to thank you all so much for sharing what you do and helping us to know what is available in our community. And this is not only allowing us to know what each other does and to be able to know how to refer, but also for our community here that will be listening either live right now or to the replay. And so thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing the awareness.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, everyone, for sharing what you all do and the impact you're doing for the community. I mean, it's really, really amazing. And the question I'd like to ask each of you is, let's start with Emily. If someone was like, what's this On Purpose show? Like, what is it about? Should I go? Should I not? What are some thoughts and just your experience overall? How has it been being here?
Yeah, I mean, it's great because I find that even with like Yelm's a fairly small city, or it used to be. It's growing quite a bit, but I've lived in Yelm all my life, and there's still businesses that are popping up that I don't even know about. Like, you guys have your scalar energy system in Yelm, and I'd never seen it, and I hear that a lot from people, that they'll drive by our salon every single day and then finally come in and they didn't realize that we've always been there, for a year now or whatever. So it's nice to be able to spread awareness for local resources because a lot of people don't realize that they're there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's such a great share. Thank you, Emily. Dr. Alex, any shares from you? If someone's like, Dr. Alex, what are your thoughts? Should I join? Should I not? What do you say?
I would say the same thing as Emily. It's been enjoyable to listen to the other options that are out there, potential referrals that can be made. I know I try to learn new things, but it's easy to get stuck in that groove of what works, and not look up every once in a while to see what new things are popping up that's around you that could help your patients. So just a diversified look at health in general.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Radu, Ahtumn, any shares from you?
I think that it's great that you're creating a community here of information and availability to explore different modalities that may not be known to everybody. And so just the creating of that community where different practitioners understand different things that are available, and then the energetically how that creates a momentum that allows people to share and find things that might help them be well, because really what we're all here doing is trying to create a community filled with wellness. And to do that, it's not just one modality, it's not just one person, it's an entire group of people making that happen. And so I think with this show, that helps that momentum.
And I love that it's that you focused on the local community, because what we get to see is basically the beauty of different minds coming together, and each in our own ways are promoting or are venturing into new areas and highlighting the brilliance of each approach. That's how I met Alyssa, for example.
Yeah,
it was quite unique. It was in a referral from a medical doctor. Yeah. And it was something completely new. I've never heard of it. And then I went to experience it, and I thought, that's this show is great to summarize the beauty that we have in our local community. And I think there should be more of that. I mean, I think that this is really wonderful because we get to really experience and strengthen the local community in that way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Radu and Ahtumn. And that's my goal, is to, be able to not only help our community get well, but also to promote these practitioners that are, really have invested so much of their time and their life into helping other people. So, helping connect, you with the right people. And, you know, as you grow and become more successful, that's just more people that are helped in our community. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Amazing. And I want to highlight, I think one of the quotes that Alyssa, in you and I, and in the future shows, thank you, Autumn, your words, community of wellness. I just love that landed so much for me, and over the past few shows that we've had. So it was great. Thank you, all of you guys, for sharing that.
Yeah, Martha here, she's getting quite the education every odd podcast on all these things.
So, what a blessing. Seriously, what a blessing. It's amazing how much I learn.
Well,
So Martha is going to move to Yelm now as a result.
right?
Or find an EES in New York.
Exactly. I already promised to send her.
I'm overdue on a trip to Washington for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, anytime. You're welcome here. There was something else I was going to mention, but now I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, I'm not thinking of what it is right at the moment, but we are coming up on close to an hour here. So we want to be respectful of everyone's time, and thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us here and share everything that you have so beautifully shared. Really appreciate you.
Yes, and you will also have an email sent out to you with everyone's, bio information if you want to connect with each other after the show. So that's
Thank you, Martha. That was what I was forgetting. I knew there was something, and
I thought so too.
yeah. So keep an eye out in your inboxes. We will be sending out everyone's contact info.
Awesome.
That's here on the show.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I hope you all have
thank
a
you.
great rest of your day. Thank
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.